Here, physics department. I had what they called that I could work and get some 1,700 rupees a month for just looking for a job. But very first day I told them that I'm not going to look for a job, I'm going to set up an industry. And Dr. M.R. Bhide said, that's good, you're not going to take away job, you're going to create job. And actually, usually I hired 7 PhDs from the physics department. I must say, you produce really exceptionally good scientists. And some of the scientists we have, Dr. Rajeshi, Dr. Mandar, so then future our Ashish also, they are the pillars of our company. So I'm very happy to be back here. That was 79 December I came back to India after 15 years in America. I am, just for your information, I am 84 years old and still go to my work twice, 2-3 times a week. Okay, let me begin. Outline, light sources, their classification, electromagnetic spectrum, visible UV and IR, low pressure lamp, UV lamps, and also lighting lamps. Basic principles of inert gas and mercury plasma, challenges of quartz UV technology, UV measurement system, a glimpse of manufacturing systems, high and low pressure discharge lamps, high pressure sources, lighting sources as well as UV lamps, application of germicidal lamp, germicidal UV lamp, how light source technology is evolved. Like Dr. Ganesan, I have been working in the lighting field, light source field for 55 years. So since 72 or 71, I have been working in this field. Let's begin. Light sources can be broadly classified in 3 categories. Incandescent, in which you pass current to a filament, could be to begin with it was a graphite, carbon, and now of course tungsten became the workhorse of this technology. And the maximum you can get here is 22 lumen per watt, we'll come to that. Discharge lamp, plasma of Mercury-Inert gas, it can be low pressure or high pressure. And again, the lighting lamps with low pressure discharge could now go up to 100 lumen per watt. LED is the new entrant here. The red, green and blue LED, when you combine them, you can have efficiency going up right up to 200 lumen per watt and still going up. Let's go in little bit detail in incandescent and discharge. We will talk in detail later on. It began in by the end of the 19th century. The Edison's lamp with less than 2 lumen per watt. Then tungsten was introduced sometime in 20s and 30s, and the lumen per watt went up to 15. Halogen lamp invented in 1959 was the ultimate in incandescent lamp, and it is 22 lumen per watt. And a derivative of halogen lamp is actually infrared heating lamp using quartz and tungsten as a heating medium. Here the generally lumen per watt is less than 5 because it is meant for heating. And it's meant for radial heating. LED, red LED was invented in 19th. Red LED was invented. Okay, let's look at electromagnetic spectrum. Did I skip anything? No. Yeah. Gamma rays, the electromagnetic spectrum goes 20 order of magnitude, 10 to the power minus 15, the short gamma rays, and radio waves of several kilometers. So the whole span of electromagnetic spectrum is about 20 order of magnitude, out of which visible is only 380 to 360. It's only factor of 2. Log of that is on factor 2 is 0.3. So in this 0.3 range log, we see thousands of color, and here we have 20 order of magnitude electromagnetic spectrum shared in also so many applications. Let's go down to ultraviolet. UVC is 100 to 280 nanometer, UVB 28315 nanometer, and UVA, which is plenty in the sunlight, UVA. UVC is the one which is germicidal, which we are going to be talking in detail later on, because it's a low pressure discharge lamp. UVB is relatively used, as I know, it's used for some medical applications, but other industrial applications I am not aware of. And UVA is largely used for UV curing. Visible we already talked about, and infrared, where the visible ends 760 nanometer, 0.76 micron to up to 10 micron is infrared. Now let's talk about low pressure mercury lamp. We talk about lighting and also UV lamp. Just compare them side by side, because the basic of both the lamps are same. Lighting lamps, you have Mercury-Inert gas discharge, but on the tube you coat with phosphor. Our tube light, regular tube light which we used to have. Soda glass is the one which is tube light is made of soda glass. And then now the next LED light source which really came to prominence was fluorescent lamp, introduced in 1939 in New York World Fair, and this has an efficiency of 40 lumen per watt. At the same time, actually, high pressure mercury lamp was also launched at the same time, around the same efficiency. Now in 1960s, we had, if you recall, earlier tube light used to be very fat, 38 or 1.5 inch. Later on in 80s, we had 1 inch diameter tube light of 80 lumen per watt. There was no really gain in the technology in terms of plasma technology. It was all phosphor. All the rare earth phosphor, so much superior to the standard phosphorus, that the efficiency of fluorescent lamp was because of the superior phosphor powders. Then in 1980s, 90 diameter lamp was, and then CFL became in 1990s of the same lumen per watt. Now let's look at the UV lamp. There is, when you compare with lighting lamp, there is no phosphor here. The regular glass is replaced by UV transmitting glass, because ordinary glass absorbs all UV, and so you need a special UV transmitting glass. Now there are three wide categories of UV lamp. One is 1 watt per inch, which is regular. So in about 1.5 meter long, you can get about 65 watt. Then you have high output UV lamp, which is a 2 watt per inch, about 130 watt maximum you can get. The state of the art and latest is the amalgam lamp. This can do 10 watt per inch, and you can have even higher than 1000 watt germicidal, or what you call low pressure mercury lamp. Now we have produced lamps up to 800 watt in our factory, in Chakin factory. All premium germicidal lamps are made from quartz glass. See, soft glass UV lamp are good enough for what you call domestic water purifier, where you purify 1 liter per minute. But when you are purifying millions of liters, millions of gallons per day, or 1000 cubic meter per hour, you require very reliable, very rugged, and very highly efficient lamps, which are all made out of quartz glass. Their efficiency is up to 35%. The construction, as I said, this germicidal lamp similar to fluorescent lamp, no phosphor, made of UV transmitting glass, a diameter 50 to 35 millimeter. Ordinary UV lamps are made out of soft glass, and premium quality UV lamps are made out of quartz tube. Now, what are the challenges? When you are making it out of quartz glass, what are the challenges? Number one, soft glass softening point is around 700 degrees centigrade. Quartz is at 1900 degrees centigrade. Processing quartz at 1900 degrees centigrade requires oxyhydroflame or oxy-LPG flame. There is a very different glass to metal seal required for quartz. In the wall loading, you are increasing from 1 watt per inch to 10 watt per inch. Can you imagine a fluorescent tube of 300, 400 watt? That we are making UV lamps of that rating. Just look at these UV lamp. Regular lamp, as I said, 1 watt per inch. These length, about the length here is the material, because what counts is the watts per inch. HO lamp, I would like to point out, this is the important thing. So you see these cathodes, and this cathode is prolonged, it is projecting inside the plasma. What it does is all the heat generation is within the plasma, and so you create a artificially low temperature spot in the back of this cathode. And that low temperature, the coldest temperature in the tube light will control the vapor pressure of mercury. So you are able to reduce the vapor pressure of mercury in the lamp just by just tinkering with this design of the lamp. And so instead of 1 watt per inch, now you can use 2 watt per inch effectively. In case of amalgam lamp, you further reduce the mercury pressure. I will come why we have to reduce the mercury pressure, but here is amalgam, 2 amalgams, and this is again a 1.5 meter long lamp. Again, you can get 1000 watt. Now this amalgam mostly use indium. Indium is melting point 157 degrees centigrade, and you also add some other ingredients so that the solidus and liquidus temperature are in the right range. Amalgam lamps have the lowest vapor pressure of the mercury. If you see the vapor pressure of mercury here, this will be maybe factor of 2 or 3. This could be a factor of 10. Now that's basic principle. There are 2 resonance lines in the low pressure mercury discharge. 254 nanometer, 254 nanometer, and 185 nanometer. This is the ground state of electrons in mercury. When electron is jumped to 663p1, it goes to the ground state. You get 254 nanometer. When electron is gone to 61p1 and jumps back to the ground state, you get 185 nanometer. These 2 resonance lines account for 90% of the radiated flux by the lamp. There is 20-30% loss, thermal losses, but radiant, all the 90% of radiant energy is in 2 wavelengths, 254 and 185. Out of this, 185 is normally absorbed in the lamp glass itself because it produces ozone. It's a very high energy radiation, so it splits oxygen and atom and you get ozone. As soon as you turn the lamp on, you can smell ozone. But ozone is a typical UV application. Ozone is a nuisance, so it is absorbed by the glass itself. In quartz, they put 200 ppm of TiO2, which absorbs all the 185 nanometer. The relative intensity of 254 and 185, then 185 is only 10% of the 254 nanometer. Let's look at the low pressure mercury discharge lamp. Some interesting basic information. These are the what you call ionization potential of different inert gases, and mercury is the lowest of all, much lower than the inert gases. Old lamp, as I said, was 38 millimeter or 1.5 inch long. It was filled with 2 torr of argon. It had a voltage of 105. Now, when they launched this 1 inch diameter lamp, which I just now talked about, 80 lumen per watt, you didn't have to change any ballast or choke. Why? This is because when they launched this 26 millimeter 1 inch diameter lamp, the area of cross section is less than half. So normally you would expect the voltage to rise, but they switched from argon to krypton, and that dropped the voltage. So this is how critical the inert gases are to control the voltage of the low pressure discharge. Conclusion: voltage of low pressure gas discharge lamp can be controlled by selecting inert gas or their mix. Another thing which is related to low pressure discharge, to mercury discharge, is the self-absorption. Why are we talking so much about the vapor pressure of mercury? Why do you want to lower it so much? Because we just did an experiment. Taken a lamp, about 20 watt lamp. It is rated for 425 milliampere. we put a choke of 425 milliampere and took the measurement. This is we're running on the base voltage. The lamp, these are the true RMS volt in ampere. So the watts is about 20, and at about 10 inch from the lamp, we measure the intensity of UV, and that was the 490. And similar measurement was made on the same lamp using a ballast of 800 milliamp. The data here, as you see, when the current goes up, the voltage drops. So that's what you expect from low pressure discharge. So from 45 it drops to 37, and the ampere is close to 800 milliamp, and the wattage is gone up from say 20 to 29, and the UV output has gone from 490 to 520. So the wattage is up by 48%, while UV output is gone up only by 6%. This is what it is. Over 90% of mercury in a low pressure discharge lamp is in the form, we found liquid. Only very small fraction is in the vapor phase. And if it is in vapor phase, either it will be mercury atom or it will be ionized condition in plasma. So this 48% jump in wattage and only 6% jump, that shows the extent of absorption caused by mercury, because when you when you have added such a 48% extra wattage, the tube temperature has gone up. Along with the tube temperature, the mercury pressure has gone up, so the self-absorption has gone up. And so that's why you are seeing the rise, not of 48% increase, but only 6% increase. So this all. So that is why mercury pressure in this low pressure discharge lamp is so important. This is a measuring setup for UV. Here are the two benches. You can put even lamp up to 2 meters long. You can see the blue shade here because the lamps are running here. And this is the measuring system. We'll come to that. This is the oscilloscope based measuring system because these are operating at 20 kilohertz. And so measuring true RMS value, you require a special measuring system. And so here we have UV output, and all the wattage, voltage, everything is recorded here. Let's quickly look at the manufacturing process. There are about 40 steps in manufacturing. It should be noted that the coils used, the cathodes used in low pressure mercury lamp, either for UV or for lighting, the cathodes are the same. They are triple coil of tungsten. I will look at, instead of the 40 steps, I don't want to go into detail. I'll just look at 3 major steps, manufacturing steps. Tube coating from inside, because quartz tube quartz has some dangling bonds and it tends to absorb mercury. And once it absorbs mercury, the UV output goes down by self-absorption. So coating of quartz tube is done. Then we do pinch sealing. These are 3 major steps. And lamp exhausting, when you remove all the air and fill it with suitable inert gas and mercury dosage. Actually, the photomanufacturing steps are all of them are very important. Any error in any of those steps lead to rejection or rework. Let's look at the manufacturing process. Can you see the water also? Okay, you can see we are just coating from inside and curing it by no, there's no other way. Okay, so this way you are curing the coating, aluminum coating inside there are 8 tubes you are doing at a time. Next is the pinch sealing. This is oxide of flame, or you can say LPG oxygen flame, and it takes 14 seconds. This is the sealing time. The third major step is actually exhausting. Means there are 15 lamps connected to this manifold, and here is a turbomolecular pump, where the vacuum here is 10 to the power minus 5, and here is an oven which is about 600 degrees centigrade. It goes back and forth just to de-gas the quartz tube, and then you evacuate. This is done under vacuum. Then you fill with inert gas, and mercury is already loaded in that. These are the three manufacturing steps for making quartz UV lamp. Now let's again talk about low and high pressure plasma of mercury. What is the difference? What is the basic difference? Low pressure discharge is like tube light. So electron temperature there is 11,000 Kelvin, because the Maxwellian distribution of velocities, and electrons have been constantly accelerated in the field in the lamp, and they hit argon, which is 4,000 times heavier than electron, and so they bounce back so the energy in an electron is huge, because you can touch a tube light, the temperature may be 30, 40, 50 degrees centigrade. So ion temperature is only ion temperature is only 50 degrees centigrade, while the electron temperature is something like 11,000. Now, as the pressure of mercury increases, there are more frequent interchanges between electrons and ions, and their temperature comes closer to each other. Both electron and ion temperature in high pressure discharge is around 7,000 degrees Kelvin. Electron temperature is always higher because it is the one which is transmitting energy to ions. So low pressure discharge, high electron temperature, low ion temperature. High pressure discharge, closer ion electron temperature. That's one major difference between the high pressure and low pressure discharge. Another important difference between high and low pressure mercury discharge is the quantum of mercury. In low pressure discharge, you need only a few milligrams of mercury. What is important, depending on the cold spot temperature, on the amount of mercury in the lamp would be corresponding to the vapor pressure of mercury under cold spot temperature. By reducing cold spot temperature, you can lower the vapor pressure of mercury. As I just now had shown that HO lamp, you just project one of the cathodes in the plasma and create an artificial low temperature in the lamp, and so you are able to get double the wattage of the lamp per inch. In high pressure, during the lamp operation, all the added mercury is in the vapor phase. Whatever mercury you have put is already vaporized, and the amount of mercury added determines the voltage of the lamp. If you put more mercury, the voltage will go up, and so you control the wattage and current, all the characteristics of the lamp based on primarily on the mercury your dose in the lamp.
Can you please tell me where are these high pressure mercury lamps are used?
Right here. Just say this. High pressure lamp also used in lighting. You may not know, but since 1940 to 1960, 70, the only lamp for street lighting and industrial lighting was mercury lamp, high pressure mercury lamp.
So they might be heated up a little bit.
Pardon?
The temperature might be going up over there.
The industrial lighting and street lighting, they are still, then they were replaced the sodium lamp.
Yeah.
And now everything is replaced by LEDs. So mercury, high pressure mercury lamp was really a dominant lamp for 20-30 years. But then when sodium lamp came with double the efficiency and long life, it replaced mercury lamps. So all the lighting lamps are in about 50 to 2000 watt. The application is street lighting and industrial lighting. Nobody uses high pressure lamp in the house. Now mercury lamp is 60 lumen per watt. It was launched in 1940s, That time it was only 40 lumen per watt, now it is much better. A sodium lamp is up to 100 lumen per hour, and it is made out of aluminum tube. It is polycrystalline alumina with magnesium brocade. It's sintered at 18 degrees centigrade. Metal halide lamp is the superior of all of them because it has got a very excellent color rendering. You can get 90% higher than the color rendering index. It was launched in India in 70s. But unfortunately, with all the improvement, all lighting lamps are now replaced by LEDs. These have become history. All this. Even a fluorescent lamp, what you see tube light now, these are not really tube lights, these are all LEDs. So 20 years ago, you always had fluorescent lamps of very high performance, but they all have been replaced by. Now let's look at the applications of UV lamp, high pressure UV lamp. Wattage is from 200 watt to 20,000 watt. We have made lamps up to 16,000 watt and sold them. Applications primarily UV curing, adhesives, printing. You can imagine 5-color printing. Every color has to be cured, and so you require very quick, very high performance curing lamps. And these are the printing lamps: flexo, offset, pad, screen printing, coatings, plastics, paper, glass, metal, wood, PCB, packaging, furniture, and even textiles. Now, just imagine a door between two rooms of your house. If the doors are, wood is most vulnerable because of water. So, if you are using a particle board, you put a polymer on it and cure it with UV. Water cannot do anything. So, this is a very important. This likewise has daily hundreds and thousands of applications of UV curing, and unfortunately, this also being replaced by LEDs, this high pressure lamp. Now let's come back to the low pressure mercury lamp, which is this germicidal lamp. As I said, the UVC is from 100 nanometer to 280 nanometer, and this is, as we know, this is all emitting only 254 nanometer primarily. So it's really at the peak, very close to the peak of germicidal efficiency. If you plot germicidal efficiency versus wavelength, 265 nanometer is the peak, and 251 is very close to it. So it's a very efficient and exceptionally powerful because if you put 100 watts of energy, 100 watts of, in the lamp, 35% of that is coming out in one wavelength, which is 254. So, no micro. The beauty about this germicidal is that there is no UVC, there is no microbe which can sustain that, which can tolerate. It will kill every bug, every. It will require less dose, more dose. The definition of dose is UV intensity into time. So microwatt per centimeter square into second. So microjoule per centimeter square. I'm just giving a few applications. Air disinfections, hospitals, AC buildings, underground metro stations. You can just imagine underground metro station, 100 to 150 meter long, 50 meter diameter. The amount of, it has to be AC because you can't have underground station without AC. So can you imagine the massive air conditioning system? So you have to take care of the purity of air, microfield. And I may add that we have done 90 of these underground metro stations. We have installed disinfection system. That means a cooling coil in a HVAC system. We light them with UVC lamps, our lamp, and it has got dozen advantages. And two primary advantages is that it destroys the microbe level in the air, goes down by 70 to 80%, and the power requirement for HVAC goes down by 15% because when you are passing air over the cooling coils, you get a lot of water condensation, so you get formation of mold and mildew. And once you have a layer of mold and mildew, the heat transfer goes for a toss. But you put UV lamp, UV destroys life. The mold and mildews just cannot grow. Even if they are there, they will just fly away because they will be eliminated. And the cooling coil will remain shiny, bright all the time. So, airports, we are at about 35 airports, including T3 of Delhi. Water disinfection. Domestic AquaGuard, you know, in every other house. And it requires couple of liters per minute, so you use soft glass there. Now, wastewater recycle is a huge opportunity, and it is related to river rejuvenation. If you get sewage, do solid liquid separation, followed by BOD CO2 adjustment by bubbling air to it. The last step, if you do UV disinfection, that water if you put in the river will be like what you have in Europe and America. Now there won't be nalas like what we have in Morocco. And so if you chlorinate, if you put chlorine at that time, then chlorine doesn't sustain life. Actually, if you have a fish bowl at home, you put fresh water in it, all the fish will die. Because water contains 1 ppm, 2 ppm of chlorine. That's enough to kill it instantly. So if you got a fish bowl, you heat it, leave it overnight, pour it, then only your fish will survive. So here is a massive opportunity. Either you can do wastewater recycle, or you can dump it in the river, and the river will be rejuvenated. Drinking water. I need to add that we just did a installation in Qatar for 40 million liters per day. Just it's been commissioned just now. Water and aquaculture. Like which you have poultry, you can also have fish in very small fishlings, and you grow them over 2 months, 3 months. So that water quality is very important. So there again, you can use aquaculture is another field where water disinfection is of very great importance. Now here are the high pressure mercury lamp. This is a 400 watt lamp. This is 6 kilowatt lamp, and 16 kilowatt lamp. Now unlike the low pressure lamp, all these lamps have one thing in common. They all are 200 to 500 watts per inch. This tiny lamp of 400 watt is actually 400 watt per inch. And so the length of the lamp will depend upon what is watts per inch. And so this lamp is for example 1.2 meter long, and is about 400 watt per inch and so forth. So here is another difference between the low pressure and high pressure discharge lamps. Here is the spectrum. We have a device here to measure the spectrum. You can see all the lines of mercury. 313. This is the violet. This is blue. This is green. This is yellow. And there is no red here. Let's go to the next one. The same lamp, same high pressure mercury lamp, has been dosed with 1 milligram of gallium iodide. Now gallium has got ionization potential of 6. So gallium, all the lines which is the red and green line, they are almost the same, except you have one additional line of green, which is gallium. So in a way, this high pressure mercury lamp has given you a platform. You could put any lamp, any iodide, and see it in the spectrum. You put cesium iodide, you will get a blue color. You put thallium iodide, you will get a green peaks. So like that, but this all talk is now no use because everything has been replaced by LED. Okay, just summary and some remarks. As I said, I have been working in the lamp industry for almost 55 years. 8-9 years in Westinghouse, where I was 100% doing R&D. Now, after coming here, I am also doing R&D, but basically my people created and we are doing the real research. Edison's lamp was less than 2 lumen per watt in present day. What I want to just cover very quickly, how the lamp technology has evolved over the last 125 years, beginning with Edison's lamp in the close of 19th century, less than 2 lumen per watt. Today we have LEDs of 200 lumen per watt. Replacement of carbon filament by tungsten filament in 20s and 30s, it went up from 2 to 15 lumen per watt. Introduction of fluorescent tube light and high pressure mercury lamp in 40s, both about 40 lumen per watt. They become a very major breakthrough. Then halogen lamp is the last word in the incandescent lamp, and the efficiency of 22 lumen per watt. This is for a 2000 hour light lamp. We also make lamp, halogen lamp with 34 lumen per watt, but light is only 15 hours. So for a decent light, you can get 22 lumen per watt of 2000 hour light. Launch of high pressure sodium vapor and metal halide in 1960s with efficiency up to 100 lumen per watt. Introduction of this is important because all the efficiency gain in the fluorescent tube light was because of the rare earth phosphor. I'll give you just one example of this rare earth phosphor. Yttrium oxide is europium. 2% europium in yttrium oxide gives a peak of 612 nanometer, a very orange peak, and very efficient, and the quantum efficiency is 1. And such, you have similar phosphor for green and for blue. When you blend these three phosphors, you get a white tube light with excellent color blending index and outstanding efficacy. Then in 90s, CFL emerged to replace bulbs, and it emerged. It caught the market. The capacity went up phenomenally in India, and within the next 5 years, it just disappeared. Now, because again, LED. The whole lamp industry has a very tragic history, the recent history. They were doing very well, and suddenly this LED came, and actually I forgot to mention as well. In the world, there are top four lighting companies, lamp companies: General Electric, Osram, Philips, and Sylvania. All four are out of lighting business now. It's that just disastrous for the lighting industry. Now, companies like Bajaj, Crompton, etc., they start buying from China and selling. But people like us, who are SMEs, we had to really go out of the way to make sure that we do something to survive. And we did that actually here. UV, IR, and PXL. UV is ultraviolet. Ultraviolet lamp we developed about 20 years ago. Now we are, the scope for this is phenomenal. Water purification, air purification, the possibilities are immense. Similarly, halogen lamp started making infrared lamp. You drop the temperature of the filament from 2500 degree Kelvin to say 500 degree Kelvin. So you are not giving much light, but you are giving more heat. So the effect is like for a radiator. So that's meant for heating, radiant heating. Now radiant heating, how important it is? The entire 100% of energy you are getting from sun is by radiation. So radiant heating, when you don't want the heat transfer by conduction and convection, the radiation is a very efficient way of doing it. Just let me give you one example of IR. We make lamp about 10 inch long, just 12 kilowatt long, 12 kilowatt rating, 10 millimeter diameter. You put these lamps together in a cassette, gold plated cassette. 1 square meter of that has got 6,000 kilowatt. 6 megawatt in 1 square meter. And you use this cassette for re-entry of the spacecraft. The spacecraft re-entry is producing such immense heat. How do you do physically replicate it? This is not computer simulation, this is actual simulation. Again, another example, nose cone of a missile. Intense heating. How do you do it? So these systems we design and build using infrared lamps. And these are very spacious purpose. Again, another example of PXL, pulse xenon lamp. RRCAT, Radharamana Center for Advanced Technology, Indore, they have put together a ND class laser. That requires, we have developed for them 12 gigawatt per xenon lamp. That means you consume, you dissipate 100 joules, 1000 joules in 1 microsecond. You got one gigawatt lamp. They use up to 200 of these lamps, pulse them simultaneously to power their laser. So it's a massive laser system, and we are the one who developed this power source for this laser and sold over 2,000 lamps. But we didn't make any money in this because they buy 50 or 100 lamps, and we of course we get 30,000 rupees a lamp, but that is not enough to sustain so much of manufacturing facility. So what I'm saying is we have survived because we developed new lamps, and we are still lamp manufacturer. Earlier lamp and lighting was synonymous, no longer. Now lamp, when we talk about lamp, we are only talking about non-lighting lamps. Okay, I just want to go back here. Invention of LED in 1990, blue LED in 1992, made it possible to use white light. And the inventor of that blue LED got Nobel Prize in 2014. By the turn of century, sudden rise of LEDs to replace all lighting sources. UV germicidal lamps are doing well against UVC LEDs. LEDs are there in every it's a question of band gap. If the band gap is 3 electron volt, you will get some 400 nanometer. It is 4 electron volt, you will get 320 nanometer. If it is 5 electron volt, you will get 260 nanometer. So higher the band gap, more difficult it is to make those LEDs. So fortunately for us, UVC requires the LEDs which require 5 electron volt band gap, and their efficiency is less than 2%. Our efficiency is 35%. So we are able to withstand this competition very properly. But medium pressure lamps, UVA LEDs, are 35 to 40% efficient. But they are very expensive right now, so we still are struggling to compete with them, but we know we are going to lose it. But we think UVC, germicidal lamp, will be able to withstand whatever they will say that this 2% efficiency is after some 20 years of research. So we feel quite safe that we will be able to survive in the next few years. That's all I want to say. If you have any questions,
Have you done a project where you will be also using LEDs for also starting with the lighting lamps?
we are using LEDs for UV.
As you have said.
Yes, and it is Ashish is the one who's working on it.
But these LEDs have to be again imported from China then?
See, LEDs light source is actually electronic, what you call fab. We don't have fab. So all LEDs light sources are imported. So that's why people like us who are light source manufacturers have nothing to do with LEDs, because we can. There are people who are good at electronics who got into lighting business because they could design the drivers to make LEDs more. But we did not have that capability, and we did not have the marketing muscles to really enter imported lamps. That's not our.
It seems CD Pilani LED was actually being done for a long time. The research was in progress. So do you have any idea whether they have come up with products? CD Pilani?
No, I don't think so. I think basically you require fab.
Yeah.
And we don't have a fab right now. There are some few of them are going to be coming in within a year or two, but right now we don't have. So it's all important. You can design like what Ashish is doing is that heat dissipation properly and some design of there's some element of design, but that's really relatively minor compared to you don't have the basic.
Of course, very difficult and to keep up with the market and then competition. You have to throw away several technologies which you had already developed.
2 or 3 things I would like to add in the same vein. Halogen lamp, when we started making in 1981, 82, we were selling a halogen lamp 1000 watt for $10. Means it was like that dollar was 8 rupees, so we were selling for 80, 90 rupees. Now the same lamp is available in retail for 35 bucks, for 50 cents. We have to walk away from the business because it's another thing. In mid 80s, we started manufacturing photocopier lamps. We made at least 100 different types of photocopier lamps, and we became OE to Modi, Xerox, and all the manufacturers. But turn of century, digital copier came. So that all those analog copiers were useless. All our lamps, all was gone. So this is the kind of uncertainty you have to face.
Survival is very difficult.
The only thing we survived is because we kept infrared lamp was our this thing, laser pumping lamp, ultraviolet lamp, graphic card lamp, these are all we developed, and also applications, air disinfection. So you find that just selling alone is not good enough because this quartz lamps we have to export because there was no market for premium lamps, so we have to export to America and elsewhere with no brand equity. Who cares for our price in America? So Chinese, you have to compare with Chinese lamp. So there was no margin. So we got into application of UV lamp in terms of air disinfection. We promoted air pure. Air pure we promoted. Yeah, because when you get closer to the customer, your margins go up. Your value added goes up. Lamp you will get 500,000 rupees. But when you do a UV disinfection of air, you get 15,000 rupees for the same lamp. So there is difference.
Thank you so much for enlightening the subject. It was really interesting. Is there anybody who will be asking any questions, queries? It was very interesting. Once again, let us thank Dr. Kulkarni for giving all the insight about the lightings and lamps and lamp industries. Thank you.